Welcome back, Dragon Slayers. I'm not sure how many of you have returned, but it's time for a fresh start. As we've lost the Expectable Love old channel, I've recreated this channel just in case you guys may search for it. If you've come across this video here, know that I'm no longer uploading Manhwa content on Expectable Love. This channel will now focus on gaming content. If you're looking for the latest episodes of the Manhwa, subscribe to my other channel, Quick Death. I'll also be renaming both channels soon to make them easier to find, as Quick Death currently doesn't show up well in search results. I've left the links to both channels in the description below. Whether you choose to support both channels or just one is entirely up to you, but your support means a lot. Now, let's get into the video. A few days later, a little red dragon arrives with news from the academy. Moon, seeing the dragon enthusiastically calling out to Noah, says that the dragon letter has arrived. Leon then picks up the letter from the dragon and opens it, saying, "Let's have a look." As he opens the letter, it reads, "Dear Noah K. Melkveh, congratulations on passing the academy's assessment. And tell her to come to the academy in 3 days to register and attend the entrance ceremony." The four of them, reading the letter, express their surprise and happiness about the enrollment and passing. Moon, hugging Noah and rubbing her cheek against hers, says that her sister is awesome, and her parents are awesome too. Noah, looking at the admission letter, smiles for the first time in the entire manhwa. Rosweiss, looking at Leon, thanks him. Leon, feeling proud, then asks, why is she thanking him? It's mainly up to Noah herself. She is worthy of being his daughter. Rosweiss, leaving with a wink, says that she'll make a big meal to celebrate today, and Leon can come and help so that people won't say he doesn't exist in this family. Leon, with a smirk, agrees, saying that he finds her very petty and always holding a grudge. Rosweiss, in her new dress, kicks off. St. Heath Academy's entrance ceremony was in full swing. The vice principal stood on the stage, congratulating everyone for passing the assessments and welcoming them to this prestigious event. He spoke at length about the significance of the ceremony, emphasizing the importance of the families who qualified to enroll their children in the academy. He highlighted that many new students had shown exceptional academic performance and stated that such excellence could only be cultivated by harmonious families. Taking this opportunity, he invited some of these families to share their experiences with everyone. The vice principal then welcomed one of the top-ranked students in this freshman class, Noah K. Melkveh, and her family to the stage. Upon hearing this, Moon realized that her parents and sister were being called to the stage. The silver dragon maid, Anna, affirmed this observation with a quiet nod. Leon Rosweiss and Noah ascended the stage together, accompanied by applause from the audience and welcoming gestures from the staff. Leon, wearing an awkward smile, couldn't help but think, how did it come to this? The answer lay an hour earlier, just before the ceremony. The principal had informed them that Noah had achieved the highest score in the entrance exam, and their family had secured first place in the family assessment. The vice principal had then requested them to represent the freshmen and deliver a speech during the ceremony. Now, standing on the stage with a forced smile, Leon felt there was no way out. The speech had come as a surprise, leaving him no choice but to face the situation head-on. Noah stepped forward to the microphone. The vice principal praised her as the youngest candidate who had achieved the highest score. He then asked Noah to share her experiences with the audience, all eyes turning toward her in anticipation. Noah stood confidently on the stage, addressing the audience with a composed demeanor. She began by expressing her admiration for her mother, describing her as a powerful dragon who had always been her role model. When Noah proposed the idea of attending school, her mother not only gave her affirmation but also provided unwavering support. As she spoke, Rosweiss glanced at her, a light smile playing on her lips, clearly proud of her words. Noah continued, shifting her attention to her sister, Moon. She shared how her sister had always been there for her, a constant source of encouragement and love. Moon, listening from the audience, looked at Noah with enthusiastic and hopeful eyes, deeply touched by her sister's gratitude. After a brief pause, Noah let out a small sigh. On stage, Leon's thoughts wandered as he wondered whether she would mention him. Then, Noah continued, her voice softening as she approached the topic closest to her heart. She declared that the one she wanted to thank the most was her father. She explained how he had reviewed material with her every day and often stayed up late into the night preparing resources for her studies. It was his dedication and effort that enabled her to stand where she was today. Hearing these heartfelt words, Leon was overwhelmed with emotion. Tears of joy welled up in his eyes as he softly called out Noah's name, touched beyond words. Noah concluded her speech with a polite thanks to the audience, stepping back from the microphone. The vice principal, visibly moved by her words, remarked that Leon must truly be an exceptional father for his daughter to hold him in such high regard. Seizing the moment, he suggested that Leon give Noah a kiss to show his fatherly love. The suggestion left Leon momentarily stunned. His thoughts raced as he looked at the vice principal, wondering what could possibly have prompted such an idea. A sense of dread crept in as he considered the scene turning into chaos if he followed through. His gaze shifted to Noah, recalling how just a month ago, she hadn't even allowed him to touch her without complaint. The idea of her permitting a public kiss seemed far-fetched. Leaning slightly toward her, he whispered that they could settle for a simple hug instead. Noah, however, looked away, a faint blush creeping onto her cheeks. Her voice was barely audible but firm as she told him to hurry up, finish the kiss, and put an end to the socially excruciating ordeal. Leon stared at her, stunned by her sudden change of tone. Her unexpected compliance left him at a loss for words, and he found himself softly uttering her name in disbelief as the moment unfolded. Leon, hearing Noah's words, decided to act with a heartfelt resolve. Gently, he leaned forward and planted a fatherly kiss on her forehead. The gesture was simple yet profound, reflecting his deep affection and pride for his daughter. Moon, watching from the audience, couldn't contain her excitement. She jumped eagerly, declaring her desire to kiss her sister as well. However, Anna, ever vigilant, intervened, reminding Moon that as a royal, she couldn't disrupt the ceremony by rushing onto the stage. Moon reluctantly settled back, casting a longing glance at Noah. Meanwhile, Ross Weiss exhaled in relief, thankful that the spotlight hadn't turned to her. Noah's face turned a deep shade of red at the unexpected display of affection. Leon noticed her reaction and offered her a soft smile, his expression radiating warmth. The vice principal, visibly moved by the display, remarked on the strength of their family bond. He noted that truly excellent dragons never forget to show gratitude to their loved ones. The Melkve family, he added, exemplified what a real family should be like. However, what came next left everyone stunned. The vice principal, with an air of cheerful oblivion, dropped an unexpected remark, revealing that he had kissed his own daughter in similar moments of pride. Then, as though inspired by his own example, he turned to Leon and suggested that as a model of a loving couple, Leon should not forget his wife. Leon and Ross Weiss were both taken aback, their expressions frozen in shock. Leon's teeth clenched, and his fists tightened as he stared at the vice principal, anger barely contained. Ross Weiss, on the other hand, seemed overwhelmed. Her face paled momentarily before she instinctively withdrew, unable to find words to respond. Leon's thoughts surged with frustration. This old dragon is getting far too ahead of himself. He should have dealt with him during the assessment. Yet, as his gaze shifted to Noah, his resolve softened. This was her moment, her most important entrance ceremony. No matter how infuriating the situation, he wouldn't let it overshadow her achievement. Steeling himself, Leon addressed Ross Weiss with an air of mock enthusiasm. "My dear wife," he said, his voice deliberately loud enough for all to hear, "come now. Aren't they the happiest and most harmonious family? Surely, they must show everyone that they are." Ross Weiss, caught off guard by his sudden declaration, flushed deeply. Her usual composure faltered as she glanced at him, her embarrassment unmistakable. The audience watched with amusement, the tension on stage blending into an unexpected display of familial affection. Ross Weiss, her face flushed crimson, whispered softly, asking if Leon truly intended to kiss her in front of hundreds of dragons. Leon, maintaining his calm demeanor, assured her that there was no way he would go that far, not with Noah and Moon watching. He urged her to cooperate with him in this delicate moment. With a deep blush coloring her face, Ross Weiss muttered that the whole situation was unbearably embarrassing. Leon, determined to move forward, closed the distance between them, gently wrapping his arms around her. His movements were slow and deliberate as he leaned in, his thoughts wandering. Though they had shared a bed and held hands many times before, they had never kissed, except for that one brief moment 2 years ago. Ross Weiss, her heart racing, could only wonder why Leon appeared so calm, as though the weight of the moment didn't affect him at all. She told herself not to mind it and, accepting her fate, closed her eyes, bracing for the kiss she expected on her lips. But as she waited, Leon's lips never found hers. Instead, he kissed her gently on the cheek. Ross Weiss's eyes opened in confusion, her expression a mixture of surprise and curiosity. She touched her cheek, still warm from the kiss, unable to hide the blush that spread across her face. Leon, with a respectful bow to the audience, declared that this was all he could do for them. A voice from the crowd asked why he hadn't kissed her on the lips, and others quickly chimed in, chanting for one more kiss. As the whispers filled the air, Leon leaned toward Ross Weiss, his smirk evident as he whispered to her. His voice was low but teasing, stating that the kiss had been a good way to relieve some stress. Rosweiss, her anger rising, gritted her teeth and clenched her fists. She glared at him, her mind seething with frustration. She thought, how dare he use her to relieve his stress. She almost wished they weren't in front of so many people, where she could have pinned him to the ground and exacted her revenge in private. But for now, she had to swallow her pride. The audience was watching, and the day wasn't over yet. There would be other opportunities, and perhaps some form of payback when they returned to the Silver Dragon Castle. She just had to wait and see if she could hold her composure long enough. Let's see if we can get romantic chapter from this gradu. The vice principal, grateful for the laughter and joy the Melkveh family had brought to the ceremony, thanked them warmly. He then invited Leon's family to step down from the stage to take a rest. Rosweiss, Leon, and Noah descended the steps together, their presence still lingering in the air as the vice principal continued with the remaining parts of the ceremony. The entrance ceremony proceeded, and eventually, it came to an end. As they exited the academy grounds, Rosweiss turned to Noah, her voice soft but firm. She told her that they were ready to leave and would pick her up the following weekend. She reminded her daughter to take care of herself. Noah nodded in response, assuring her mother that she would. Moon, hugging Noah tightly, whispered that she wanted to be with her sister. Noah, smiling gently, told her that she would miss her too. Leon, ever the practical one, added his own reminders. He told Noah to eat on time, not to be picky with her food, to study hard, and if anything confused her, she could always ask him when she came home during the holidays. Most importantly, he emphasized, if she felt unwell, she should go to the academy doctor and not be stubborn about it. Noah, half annoyed, half amused, assured him that she knew all that already and wasn't a child anymore. Leon grinned and pointed his thumb toward Rosweiss, teasing, those are actually her mother's words when she was drunk. She was too embarrassed to say them herself, so he's just doing it for her. Rosweiss, folding her arms and wearing a straight face, denied it, calling Leon's statement nonsense. Leon, not missing a beat, turned serious. He warned Noah that if she met classmates with bad personalities, she should stay away from them. But if anyone dared to bully her, she had his full support to fight back. Noah raised an eyebrow and asked if he had ever done that when he was in school. With a playful wink, Leon nodded. Every time he got into a fight at school, his teacher, who, by the way, was her grandfather, would bring him home and give him a good beating. Leon reassured Noah that there was no need to worry. He would never punish her for something so small. Moon, clinging to her father's legs, listened to the exchange between them. Noah smiled, agreeing with Leon's words. She'll remember, Dad. And that's it for today's recap, everyone. We'll be back next week with another interesting chapter. Don't forget to subscribe, we need to reach a lot more and recover former height.